Okay, we're going to do our read aloud of Flora and Ulysses, the animated adventure by Kate DeCamillo. And we haven't read too much into this yet, but we have met the squirrel, Ulysses. And Ulysses had just gotten vacuumed up by a vacuum cleaner that was very powerful. The vacuum cleaner, remember what its name was? Yeah, it was Ulysses, and it had got really powerful, and Miss Tickum was using it to accidentally vacuum her backyard. And then suddenly Ulysses comes out because our main character, Flora, helps him, and then he has super strength. And she tells Miss Tickum to not tell anyone. So here we are, Chapter 9, The Whole World on Fire. She spoke to him, and he understood her. What the girl said was, "Ulysses, come here, Ulysses." And without thinking, he moved toward her. "It's okay," she said, and he believed her. It was astonishing. Everything was astonishing. The setting sun was illuminating each blade of grass. It was reflecting off the girl's glasses, making a halo of light around the girl's round head, setting the whole world on fire. The squirrel thought, when did things become so beautiful? And if it has always been this way all along, how is it that I never noticed it before? "Listen to me," the girl said. "My name is Flora. Your name is Ulysses." "Okay," thought the squirrel. She put her hand on him. She picked him up. She cradled him in her left arm. He felt nothing but happiness. Why had he always been so terrified of humans? He couldn't imagine. Actually, he could imagine. There had been that time with the boy and the BB gun. There had truthfully been a lot of incidents with humans, some involving BB guns, some not, and all of them had been violent, terrifying, and soul-destroying. But this was a new life, and he was a changed squirrel. He felt spectacular, strong, smart, capable, and also hungry. He was very, very hungry. Chapter 10, Squirrel Smuggling. Flora's mother was in the kitchen. She was typing. She wrote on an old typewriter, and when she pounded the keys, the kitchen table shook, and the plates on the shelves rattled, and the silverware in the drawers cried out in a metallic kind of alarm. Flora had decided that this was part of the reason her parents had divorced. Not the noise of the writing, but the writing itself, specifically the writing of romance. Flora's father had said, "I think your mother is so in love with her books about love that she doesn't love me anymore." And her mother had said, "Ha! Your father is so far off in left field that he wouldn't recognize love if it stood up in his soup and sang." Flora had a hard time imagining what love would be doing standing in a bowl of soup and singing, but these were the kind of idiotic words her parents spoke. And they said the words to each other, even though they were pretending that they were talking to Flora. It was all very annoying. "What are you doing?" her mother said to Flora. She was sucking on a Pitzer Pop. It made her words sound rocky and sharp-edged. Her mother used to smoke, and then she stopped. But she still had something in her mouth, but she still had to have something in her mouth when she typed. So she consumed a lot of Pitzer Pops. Have you guys heard of Pitzer Pop? I have no idea what that is. I'm guessing it's just like it's like a lollipop. This one was orange flavored. Flora could smell it. "Oh, nothing," said Flora. She glanced at the squirrel in her arms. "Good," said her mother. She whacked the cartridge return on the typewriter without looking up. She kept typing. "Are you still standing there?" her mother said. She typed some more words. She hit the carriage again. I'm on a deadline here. It's hard to concentrate with you standing over me and breathing like that." "I could stop breathing," said Flora. "Oh, don't be ridiculous," said her mother. "Go upstairs and wash your hands. We are going to eat soon." "Okay," said Flora. She walked past her mother and into the living room, still carrying Ulysses in the crook of her arm. It didn't seem possible, but it was true. She had smuggled a squirrel into the house. And she had done it right under her mother's nose, or behind her back, or something. In the living room, at the base of the stairs, the little shepherdess lamb was waiting, a pink-cheeked smirk plastered on her face. Flora hated the shepherdess. Reminds me of Toy Story. Her mother had bought the lamp with her first royalty check from her first book on Feathered Wings of Joy, which was the stupidest title for a book that Flora had ever heard in her life. Her mother had sent away to London for the lamp. When it arrived, she unpacked and plugged it in, and then she clapped her hands and said, "Oh, it's so beautiful. Isn't she beautiful? I love her with all my heart." Flora's mother never called Flora beautiful. She never said that she loved her with all her heart. Luckily, Flora was a cynic and didn't care whether her mother loved her or not. "I think I will call her Mary Ann," her mother had said. "Mary Ann?" said Flora. "You're going to name a lamp?" "Mary Ann, shepherdess to the lost," said her mother. "Who's lost exactly?" said Flora. But her mother hadn't bothered to answer that question. "This," Flora said to the squirrel, "is the little shepherdess. Her name is Mary Ann. Unfortunately, she lives here too." The squirrel considered Mary Ann. Flora narrowed her eyes and stared at the lamp. She knew it was ridiculous, but sometimes she felt as if Mary Ann knew something that she didn't know, that the little shepherdess was keeping some dark and terrible secret. "You stupid lamp," said Flora. "Mind your business. Mind your sheep." Oh, she doesn't say very nice things to that lamp. Actually, there was just one sheep and a tiny lamb curled up at Mary Ann's pink slippered feet. Flora always wanted to say to the little shepherdess, "If you're such a great shepherdess, where are the rest of your sheep, huh?" That is funny. "We can't just ignore her," said Flora to Ulysses. She turned away from the smug and glowing Mary Ann and climbed the stairs to her room, holding Ulysses gently, carefully in her arms. He didn't glow, but he was surprisingly warm for someone so small.